So, how's it going?
What's up, girlfriend?
And how have you been lately?
How do you feel?
How do I feel? How do I feel? Between the sleepless nights and the endless homework and my non-existent sex life and my ridiculous class load, how do you think I feel? I have extreme anxiety. Do you know what that means? It means that interacting with people is like trying to navigate a minefield blindfolded. It means that any minute change in my routine reduces me to a weeping, blubbering mess. It means I cannot handle drama, I cannot handle pressure, I cannot handle stress. And where am I at? College. Fuck my life. This is where I take most of my generals classes. Just skating by on a C average. This is where I take most of my major classes. Art. D average. This is the river where I go to contemplate suicide. Except, not really. This is the size of my ambition. These are the crushing limitations of my abilities. But I'm great at parties. I'm a sophomore at Othello State University, established 1867, student population 20,000, which, ironically enough, is the approximate cost of one semester's tuition. It's all worth it, though, because Othello has the highest rate of post-graduation employment in the nation. Not doing anything you went to school for, but hey, who's complaining? Othello has a stately, picturesque campus, a beautiful new athletic complex, and an ideal location only 2 blocks away from the local bars. Seriously, it says that in the brochure. Smart move, because when you realize all the debt you'll be incurring from an education a baboon would be ashamed of, you'll need a drink. Not that I'm speaking from experience, since I don't drink. I don't smoke either. Nope. Don't do any of the recreational drugs people use to make their college experience bearable. I'm sailing through this hell completely sober. Well, except for the pills. I take 1,000 milligrams of Norlixit to pep me up, 500 milligrams of Xanthropo to calm me down, 800 milligrams of tricycline to help combat the nausea brought on by the Xanthropo, and 400 milligrams of Sanhedrin to combat the anxiety brought on by the tricycline. I asked my doctor once if all the pills had more side effects than actual effects, but he told me he had the PhD and I should just be grateful that shock therapy had been outlawed. They're absolute miracle workers. Back in high school, before I started taking them, I had such terrible anxiety I could hardly function. Now, since I started taking them, I can barely function. Couldn't live without them. There are good days, and there are bad days. On good days, I hit the snooze button 4 times, stub my toe in the shower, eat both breakfast and the plastic wrapper it comes in, vomit on the way to class, half sleep through class, and learn approximately nothing.
These are questions without answers. There are no answers. Or perhaps there are. This is the goal of philosophy.
On bad days, I oversleep, hit my shin in the shower, skip breakfast, vomit anyway, arrive 5 minutes late, and I'm so petrified about being tardy, so terrified at the thought of all those heads turning to judge me as I stumble in late, that I don't stumble in at all. I go back to my dorm, have a panic attack over all the homework I missed, and have to go beg clemency from the professor.
I've been working so hard and everything to do. It's just
I usually break down crying, and he usually tells me it's no big deal and gives me an extension. I sort of hate him for that.
Thank you.
And when I'm not just barely passing my generals, I'm struggling to barely pass my art classes. That's right, I'm majoring in art, aka the most pointless major ever. Seriously, who majors in art? If you had any talent, you'd just make art and be successful, not earn a degree to teach it badly. The only people who major in art are fuck-ups. People too creative or original or avant-garde to just get real jobs and be productive members of society. Of which I'm foremost. For someone who supposedly loves art so much, I seem to have spent most of my 2 years in this degree learning how to avoid making it. Some nights I don't even get started. I wonder if there's anything on TV. Some nights I'll sit down to work and inspiration just doesn't strike. Some nights I'll start working and be so appalled by what I've done that I just decide to tear it up and start over tomorrow.
That is fantastic.
It's always easier to start over tomorrow. But tomorrow turns into 2 days, then 3, then 4. And suddenly it's the end of the semester and my midterm project still hasn't been started, much less turned in. 2 years and I still haven't been officially accepted into Othello's art program. I just feel like I don't belong here. The other art students don't like me. Not that they've said so, but... well, I get vibes. My teacher doesn't like me much either. Every time I show her my work, she tells me,
This is really interesting.
but I can tell what she's thinking is,
Why the hell do you paint this kind of shit?
probably doesn't help that the only thing I can paint is the burning of Atlanta by way of the rapture. I do have one friend in this class. Technically not an art major, but he gets better grades than I do because he's not an emotionally stunted child and can actually turn his work in on time. He's friendly, encouraging, and tells me I shouldn't worry so much about this stuff, that it's no big deal. He's kinda cute. I sort of hate him for that. And when I'm not stumbling my way through my art degree, I'm stumbling my way through that damn overdue general's assignment at 2 in the morning. Doesn't matter how much I promise the professor that this time it'll get done right away. It always gets done at 2 in the morning when I have no energy, no patience, and certainly not the attention span to write a 10-page research paper on colonial France or some such shit. Probably doesn't help that I have to spend most of the night listening to my roommate orgasm. My roommate was Miss Kingston Falls, gets fantastic grades, and gets eaten out pretty much every night by her boyfriend. I, meanwhile, was voted least likely to succeed by my graduating class, am nearly on academic suspension, and have a love life just this side of nuclear holocaust. My roommate keeps telling me I just need to get out there and ask a guy out, that it's no big deal. I sort of hate her for that. Ugh. Fuck my life. Sometimes I fantasize about quitting school. But I know that if I did, my parents would never stop giving me shit about it. If you just stuck it out for 2 more years, you could have had a career, an education, a husband, a life.
No offense, hon. You kind of suck, and we sort of hate you.
Sometimes I fantasize about flunking out of all my classes, but then I realize that I have to explain to my professors and myself why I stopped trying, and right now I don't have a very good excuse. Sometimes I fantasize about getting hit by a bus. Or choking to death. Or accidentally electrocuting myself. Or wasting away from some incurable disease. People saying nice things at my funeral. How I had such promise. How I died far too young. How I really wasn't such a yutz. How I sort of hate myself for that. Sometimes I think I should just take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize it's not the end of the world. It's just college, a lousy place for a lousy couple of years. It'll be over soon enough. I'll have the degree in hand, and I'll probably make it through the shitstorm just fine. And then sometimes I think, if this really was the end of the world, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. What if it all just burned away? My roommate, my fellow art students, my art. Oh God, can we burn my art twice? The teachers who do me favors and the friend who will never see me as anything more. All of it just gone. Until it's just me. sitting here. No one to prod me. No one to tell me I can do better. No one to tell me it's no big deal. Left alone with my self-loathing. But it never works out that way. So instead, I'm stuck here saying,
So, how's it going?
What's up, girlfriend?
And how have you been lately?
How do you feel?
I'm fine. Just fine.